But in Travis's and the other 150 plus soldiers, in their sacrifice was great victory. On this April 21st, 2009, we not only muster as Aggies, but we celebrate Texas's independence. We celebrate those that have fought for freedom and won. I would like now to, as I do in all of the musters that I attend, I'd really like to ask the veterans to stand and be recognized. There they are. It is your service, your sacrifice, your willingness to welcome death for freedom. That is what we celebrate tonight and muster around. As you all know, the veterans who just stood were the fortunate ones. They walked off the battlefield and walked back into their homes to continue their lives, enjoying the freedom that their sacrifice helped to secure. They were given another day, another year, another decade, indeed another life. Not all who served were so lucky. Matt Worrell, who's a Fighting Texas Aggie class of '94, a proud member of Company L1, married his college sweetheart Camille and gave the world two beautiful little boys named Luke and Jake. While in school, he and my husband Mark worked closely together, Matt as a red pot for bonfire, and my husband Mark as a yell leader. The last time we saw Matt was at a wedding a couple of years ago, and I can still see him so clearly in my mind, so striking and so proud and so handsome in his uniform. And I remember thinking that very night, what a gift he was. How blessed this country was to have someone like Matt, so many others like him, Texas Aggies, who were willing to go into the darkness of night and the blackness of war to keep us safe. In 2007, Matt gave his life, continuing the fight for freedom in Iraq as a Black Hawk helicopter pilot. He is a true hero. He is a fallen hero. And he, along with all the other names that will soon be called, will never be forgotten. My friends, muster represents the very, very, very best of Texas A&M. It represents the best of us. When the candles are lighted, we must remember what the burning fire represents, that love of man, love of school, the willingness to lay down your life for freedom. Indeed, one of my favorite sayings is, in fire, gold is tested. It is the hardest times, the darkest moments, when our gold is truly tested. Freedom is a precious thing. It is the most precious, and we must vigorously fight for it every day, whether on the dusty plains in Iraq or on our country's editorial pages, whether in the mountains of Afghanistan or in the hallways of our capital, whether against tyrannical dictatorships or in our own backyard. We must preserve this beautiful, brilliant ideal that our people, that Americans, that Aggies are constrained only by their own imagination and limited only by how big they can dream. And we must also recognize this truth as Aggies. The battle for freedom is never finished. And it is by continuing that battle that we truly honor those that have left us in this last year. It is said that in fire, gold is tested. And so I challenge you, let us together make a new commitment tonight. Let us make this commitment on behalf of those Aggies with whom we honor with a here. Whether it be for a relative of my husband's, Joe Rollins, whose name will be called soon, or whether it be for Jim Welsh, who was the father of great friends of ours at A&M, or for every other Aggie on that list, let our gold be tested. As I mentioned above, in 1836, less than 200 men had their gold tested when they fought against thousands of Mexican forces to defend an ancient Christian mission on the plains of Texas. Though they died to the last man, the Texas volunteers within those missionary walls exacted such a horrific toll on the army of Santa Anna that one of the colonels remarked, "One more such glorious victory and we are finished." And so they were. The inspiration of the men who made their stand at the Alamo fueled the victory that Sam Houston would lead just 6 weeks later on April 21st, 1836. In fact, the 700 ragged, ill-equipped band of Texans who had been retreating for weeks suddenly turned around and defeated a vastly superior force to gain freedom for Texas on this very day. Whether it is the gold in our Aggie rings, the gold in our hearts, or the gold in our principles, it is the fire that tests us, that makes us stronger, that reminds us why we are here. Not here in Austin on this most important of all Aggie nights, but here in this beautiful place we call America. Let tonight's fire always remind us not only of the loved ones we have lost, what we are called to do, indeed what we must do to carry their legacy forward. I will conclude tonight using a quote from another great defender of freedom, another whose gold was surely tested by many, many fires. His name was Winston Churchill. And in 1941, he was encouraging the young men of his country. He said, "Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in." Ladies and gentlemen, we as Aggies will never give in, and we will never forget. Never, never will we forget. These ties that bind us will bind us forever. Let us weep one more time for those we have lost, then spend the rest of our lives celebrating them. My fellow Aggies, Texans, Americans, we have a rendezvous with destiny, and tonight, this Aggie muster and the 300 others going on around the world, they are proof that we will not fail. In fire, gold is tested, and our gold, this Texas A&M, will shine gloriously bright forever. Softly call the muster, let comrade answer here. Thank you so much.